Malik's
We don't
boots
have much
splashed through the
time
puddles
left.
as he navigated the labyrinth
You
of
need to
Pike
tell me
Place Market.
everything you know right
The air
now.
thick with the scent of fresh salmon and blooming tulips, a chaotic symphony that somehow grounded him in this new world. It was his third month in Seattle, and the city had already woven itself into his bones, its perpetual drizzle mirroring the quiet storm inside him. He had arrived first, 6 months ahead of the family, scraping together every overtime shift at the warehouse to afford the cramped 2-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill that would be their first taste of American freedom. The visa process had been a gauntlet of paperwork and prayers, nights spent hunched over forms in the dim glow of a single bulb, whispering to Allah for mercy on the lie he lived. Not the faith itself, which he still clung to like a frayed lifeline, but the part where he pretended his desires were sins to be buried. His phone buzzed in his pocket, pulling him from the reverie. It was Aisha, his younger sister, her voice crackling over the line from the airport in Nigeria. "Bye, we're boarding soon. Mama's crying again. Says the plane feels like a metal bird swallowing us whole." Malik smiled despite the knot in his throat, picturing Fatima's wide eyes, her hijab pinned just so, clutching her worn Quran as if it could ward off turbulence. "Tell her it's okay, Ash. The skies here are kinder. I'll be waiting with that coffee she loves, the one with too much cream." He hung up and leaned against a stall piled high with artisanal cheeses, the vendor, a wiry man with a beard like tangled wire, eyeing him curiously. "First time bringing the clan over?" the man asked, his accent pure Pacific Northwest, drawling like the fog rolling in off the sound. Malik nodded, forcing a grin. "Yeah, from Nigeria. A lot." The man chuckled, sliding him a free wedge of sharp cheddar. "Welcome to the grind, brother. This city's got heart, but it chews you up if you're not careful." Malik pocketed the cheese, the saltiness a small rebellion against the bland rice he'd been surviving on. He thought of Jamal, his older brother, the one who'd stayed behind to sell spare parts in the market back home, only to join them now with dreams of engineering school. And Ahmed, their father, stoic as the baobab trees, who had sacrificed his teaching job to fund this exodus. Malik was the bridge, the son who had won the diversity lottery, the one carrying their hopes like invisible cargo. By evening, the arrivals hall at Seattle-Tacoma buzzed with reunions, and there they were, Ahmed's broad shoulders cutting through the crowd, Fatima's laughter bubbling up as Aisha tugged at her sleeve, pointing at the escalators like they were wonders of the world. Jamal trailed behind, his duffel slung low, eyes scanning for threats in this land of giants. Malik enveloped them one by one, the hugs fierce and wordless, the kind that spoke of oceans crossed and promises kept. "Home," Fatima whispered, pressing a kiss to his forehead, her scent of jasmine and home-cooked jollof rice wrapping around him like a shield. But as they piled into the rattling Subaru he'd bought secondhand, weaving through the rain-veiled freeways toward the city, Malik's gaze drifted to the rearview mirror, catching his own reflection. Dark eyes shadowed, a secret smile flickering for no one. The apartment was a shoebox of optimism. Peeling wallpaper in the living room, a kitchenette where dreams of feasts would clash with reality's meager pantry. That first night, they unpacked amid laughter and tears, Aisha claiming the lumpy couch as her throne, Jamal unrolling prayer mats toward Mecca with mechanical precision. Ahmed surveyed the space like a general staking territory, muttering about finding work at the ports. Fatima bustled to the stove, improvising stew from canned tomatoes and spices smuggled in her suitcase, the aroma chasing away the sterile chill of displacement. Malik watched from the doorway, nursing a lukewarm beer he'd snuck from the corner bodega, the foam bitter on his tongue. This was success, wasn't it? The family intact, borders breached, a new chapter scripted in the language of opportunity. But as the clock ticked past midnight, with snores rumbling from the shared bedroom, Malik slipped onto the fire escape, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. He pulled out his phone, scrolling to a photo he'd hidden deep in an encrypted folder. A candid shot from last summer, him and Tariq on a Lagos beach at dusk, arms slung casual around shoulders, the ocean whispering secrets neither dared voice aloud. Tariq, with his easy grin and calloused hands from fixing engines, had been the first crack in Malik's armor. Their nights in hidden corners, touches fleeting as sand through fingers, had ended when Tariq vanished. Rumors of a forced marriage, or worse, a family's wrath. Coming to America had been escape for them all, but for Malik it was rebirth or ruin. The next weeks blurred into a rhythm of adaptation. Ahmed landed a gig loading crates at the waterfront, his back bending under weights that tested his resolve. Fatima enrolled in English classes at the community center, her notebook filling with phrases like small talk and grocery list. Aisha, at 16, dove into high school with the ferocity of a storm, her braids swinging as she navigated hallways of white faces and whispered slurs. Jamal shadowed electricians, his toolkit growing, dreams of circuits and clean lines fueling late-night sketches. Malik, meanwhile, climbed the warehouse ladder, his forklift humming like a mechanical heartbeat, stacking pallets of imported teas and gadgets that would grace American shelves. Evenings brought solace in the small things. Friday prayers at the Al-Noor Mosque in Wallingford, where the imam preached of perseverance, his voice booming off vaulted ceilings. After, they'd gather at a halal spot on Aurora Avenue, plates heaped with shawarma and falafel, trading stories of the day. "This place moves too fast," Ahmed grumbled once, wiping grease from his chin. "Back home, time bent like a river." Malik nodded, but his mind wandered to the man he'd glimpsed at the market that morning. A barista with tousled blonde hair and forearms inked with swirling tattoos, his smile lingering like an invitation. Ethan, the name tag read, and when their eyes met over a spilled latte, something electric passed, unspoken but undeniable. Malik pushed it down, burying it under shifts and family duties. He drove Aisha to soccer practice in the drizzle-soaked fields of Discovery Park, cheering as she dodged defenders with grace born of street games in Lagos. Helped Jamal with algebra homework, their heads bent over textbooks under the harsh kitchen light. Held Fatima's hand during her first parent-teacher conference, translating her halting English into confidence. And for Ahmed, he became the silent partner, sharing silent beers on the stoop, watching fairies slice the sound like silver blades. Yet the secret gnawed, a quiet erosion. Nights alone, after the apartment fell quiet, Malik would trace the lines of Ethan's face in his memory, the way his laugh cut through the steam of the espresso machine. It was harmless, he told himself, a fantasy in a city of strangers. But Seattle had other plans, drawing him into its undercurrents. One crisp October afternoon, as leaves turned the streets to fire, Malik ducked into the coffee shop on impulse, the bell tinkling like a summons. Ethan looked up, green eyes sparking. "Back for more chaos? What's your poison today?" "Americano, black is my mood," Malik replied, the words slipping out bolder than intended. Ethan grinned, sliding the cup across the counter with a flourish. "Rough day hauling boxes?" Their fingers brushed, a spark that lingered. Conversation flowed easy after that, about the warehouse grind, Ethan's graphic design gigs, the way rain made the city feel alive. By closing time, Ethan scrawled his number on a napkin. "Text me. Seattle's better with company." Malik stared at the digits that night, heart pounding like a drum in his chest. He typed, deleted, typed again, sent. The reply came swift. "Finally. Dinner tomorrow? My treat." It was the first fracture, small but seismic, in the wall he'd built around his truth. The bistro on Queen and Hill was a cozy nook of exposed brick and candle flicker, the kind of place where secrets felt safe under the hum of jazz from hidden speakers. Malik arrived early, palms damp against his jeans, the mirror in his truck cab reflecting a man on the edge, clean-shaven, cologne subtle, but eyes betraying the war within. Ethan pulled up in a battered Prius, hopping out with a wave that scattered his doubts like leaves in the wind. "You made it," Ethan said, clasping his shoulder, the touch warm and unhurried. "Thought the rain might scare you off." They settled into a corner booth, menus forgotten as stories spilled. Ethan spoke of growing up in Spokane, trailer parks and absent dads, finding solace in sketchbooks and the open road that led him west. "Art's my rebellion," he admitted, tracing the rim of his wine glass. "Tattoos too. Each one's a scar turned story." Malik listened, mesmerized, sharing fragments of his own mosaic. The bustle of Lagos markets, the sting of leaving friends behind, the ache of being the family's anchor. He skirted the deeper currents, the faith that both bound and bruised him, the desires he'd learned to cloak in silence. Over plates of seared scallops and heirloom salads, laughter bridged the gaps. Ethan's foot nudged his under the table, accidental at first, then deliberate, a Morse code of intent. Malik's pulse raced, but he didn't pull away. As they stepped into the night, the hill's incline pulling them closer, Ethan turned. "Walk with me." The path wound through Cary Park, the skyline unfolding like a promise. Space Needle piercing the clouds, Elliott Bay shimmering below. They paused at the rail, shoulders brushing, the city a distant heartbeat. "I've wanted this since that first spill," Ethan murmured, his breath fogging the air. Malik met his gaze, the green depths pulling him under. Their lips met soft, tentative, then deepening with the hunger of withheld breath. It was fire and flood, Malik's hands framing Ethan's face, tasting salt and possibility. They broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the world narrowing to the stolen moment. Back at Ethan's studio apartment in Fremont, overlooking the canal's lazy drift, hesitation melted. Clothes shed like old skins, bodies mapping uncharted territories under the glow of string lights. Ethan's touch was reverent, tracing the curve of Malik's spine, whispering praises that echoed in the quiet. For Malik it was revelation. Love not as sin, but as sacrament, raw and real. They tangled through the night, dawn finding them spent and sated. Ethan's head on Malik's chest, fingers interlaced like vows. Morning brought coffee brewed strong, pancakes flipped with theatrical flair. "Stay," Ethan urged, but duty called. Family brunch at the apartment. A ritual Fatima insisted on to stitch their new life together. Malik dressed with reluctance, stealing one last kiss at the door. "Tonight?" Ethan asked, eyes hopeful. "Always," Malik promised, the word a bridge over the chasm of his double life. The drive home wound through traffic-clogged arteries, radio humming indie folk that spoke of lost loves and found homes. Guilt crept in with the familiarity of an old friend, twisting as he unlocked the door to the scent of frying plantains. "Where were you, Habibi?" Fatima asked, plating food with maternal precision. "Over time," he lied smoothly, the falsehood bitter as overripe fruit. Ahmed grunted approval from his chair, newspaper shielding his face, while Jamal quizzed Aisha on her history project, their voices a chorus of normalcy. Brunch stretched lazy, stories of the week unfolding. Aisha's crush on a classmate named Riley, her cheeks flushing under scrutiny. Jamal's interview at a solar firm, nerves masked by bravado. Ahmed's tales of dockside banter, forging bonds with Mexican and Somali workers. Fatima beamed, her English blooming, recounting a neighbor's kindness, borrowed sugar, a shared recipe for apple pie. Malik contributed sparingly, his mind adrift on Ethan's scent clinging to his skin, a phantom presence. Afternoons became their ritual. Malik would claim errands, vanishing into the city's folds. They'd meet at Hidden Gems, a bookstore in Ballard where Ethan illustrated zines, Malik devouring poetry on identity. Hikes in the Cascades, where pine-scented trails led to secluded clearings, their love unfurling like wildflowers. Ethan opened doors Malik hadn't known were locked. Drag shows in Capitol Hill, where queens in glittering gowns preached acceptance. Pride flags fluttering from balconies, a spectrum of lives unapologetic. But shadows lengthened. At the mosque, the imam's sermons on family and fidelity pricked like thorns. "The Ummah is our fortress," he intoned, eyes sweeping the congregation, landing on Malik with unwitting weight. Prayers afterward felt fractured, prostrations a plea for clarity. Home brought its own trials, Aisha's questions growing sharper, sensing his distractions. Jamal's offhand jokes about American vices, laced with cultural caution. Ahmed's silences deepened, his gaze appraising, as if scenting change on the wind. One evening, after a shift that left him bone-weary, Malik returned to find the family gathered around the TV, a news segment on immigration raids flickering blue. Fatima's hand trembled on the remote. "They come for us next?" she whispered. Malik knelt beside her, arm around her shoulders. "Not here, Mama. We're legal, safe." But the fear lingered, a specter over their meals. Ethan became his counterpoint, a buoy in the swell. They cooked together in his kitchen, Ethan's vegan twists on Nigerian stews yielding laughter and spice. Nights blurred into explorations, bodies and souls intertwining, conversations delving into fears unspoken. "I'm scared of losing you to this," Ethan confessed one dawn, tracing Malik's jaw. "To what?" Malik echoed, heart clenching. "To the life you're building without me in it." The words hung, a mirror to his terror. He pulled Ethan close, murmuring assurances, but doubt seeded. Weeks turned to months, their rhythm syncing with the seasons. Thanksgiving at Ethan's with queer chosen family. Turkey carved amid toasts to survival. New Year's on a rooftop, fireworks blooming over the sound. Their kiss sealing resolutions whispered in the dark. Yet the family orbit tightened. Aisha's school play cast her as a pilgrim, rehearsals demanding rides Malik squeezed in. Jamal's apprenticeship meant shared carpool commutes, brotherly talks turning confessional. "You seem different, bro," Jamal said one foggy morning, wipers slapping rhythm. "Happy but haunted." Malik deflected with a laugh, but the probe lingered. Spring arrived tentative, cherry blossoms dusting the U District like confetti. Malik and Ethan picnicked in the arboretum, blankets spread under dogwoods, wine loosening tongues. "Tell me everything," Ethan urged, head in lap. Malik hesitated, then spilled fragments. The visa's cost, the family's reliance, the faith's unyielding grip. "I'm the glue," he said, voice cracking. "If I break." Ethan sat up, cupping his face. "You're not a glue, Malik. You're a man. And I love that man, cracks and all. Love." The word landed like grace, fierce and freeing. They made love there, hidden by foliage, the earth cradling their urgency. Afterward, sated and sun-warmed, Malik felt the dam tremble. "I want you in my world," he said, the admission a leap. Ethan's eyes shone. "Then let me in." The invitation was extended tentatively. Coffee after Friday prayers, Ethan waiting curbside, casual in hoodie and beanie. The family emerged, curious introductions rippling. "My friend from work," Malik explained, pulse thundering. Fatima offered warm smiles, pressing a Tupperware of chin-chin into Ethan's hands. Ahmed nodded curtly, appraising. Aisha grilled him on music tastes. Jamal clapped his back with easy camaraderie. It was a thread, fragile but woven. That night, alone with Ethan, elation surged. "They liked you," Malik breathed, bodies aligning in celebration. But as sleep claimed them, a whisper of foreboding stirred. The thread could bind or bind tight. Summer unfurled in Seattle like a hesitant bloom, the rare sun coaxing barbecues and ferry rides, the city shedding its gray for bursts of blue. Malik and Ethan's world expanded in tandem, weekends stolen for road trips to the Olympics, where fern-choked trails led to alpine lakes mirroring skies unmarred. They swam naked in the chill, laughter echoing off granite, bodies glistening as they emerged, hands linked in defiant joy. "This is us," Ethan said, toweling Malik's hair, his voice thick with emotion. Unfiltered. Back in the city, integration deepened. Ethan joined family iftars during Ramadan. His attempts at fasting met with Fatima's indulgent soups at sunset. "You're too skinny. This one," she teased, ladling okra stew, her eyes soft with unspoken approval. Aisha dragged them to her games, Ethan cheering loudest from the sidelines, his sketches of her in motion becoming cherished gifts. Jamal bonded over tools, borrowing Ethan's bike for commutes, their talks veering to dreams of sustainable tech. Even Ahmed thawed, sharing chess matches on the stoop, pieces clicking like tentative alliances. Malik floated in this fragile harmony, the secret no longer a solitary burden but a shared horizon. At work, the warehouse buzzed with his lightness, colleagues ribbing him about the glow-up. Nights with Ethan were symphonies of touch and talk, exploring kinks born of trust, silk ties binding wrists, whispers of surrender under moonlight slanting through blinds. Love deepened, roots delving past surface to the marrow of fears. Yet beneath the idol, fissures formed. Whispers at the mosque grew pointed, elders murmuring about Western influences, snaking into the community. One Friday, after khutbah on marital duties, an uncle cornered Malik. Heard you with that fair-haired boy.
Careful, son.
The path to Jahannam is paved with pretty distractions. The words slithered home, coiling in his gut during drives with the family, radio tuned to NPR's debates on equality. Ethan sensed the shift, pulling him aside after a movie night. Some indie flick on forbidden loves that left them raw. You're pulling back, he said, thumb brushing Malik's temple. Talk to me. In the dim of the theater lobby, popcorn kernels crunching underfoot, Malik confessed the encounter. Ethan's jaw tightened, but his hold gentled. We face it together, or not at all. The decision crystallized over Labor Day weekend, the family planning a picnic at Golden Gardens, blankets spread amid driftwood and kites slicing gulls' paths. Malik arrived with Ethan in tow, the introduction casual yet charged. Everyone, you know Ethan. Laughter rippled as Aisha commandeered him for frisbee, Jamal grilling burgers with shared flips. Fatima unpacked samosas, her gaze lingering warm. Ahmed, however, stiffened, fork pausing mid-air. This friend of yours, he comes often now. The question hung, innocent on surface, laced with probe. Malik met his father's eyes, the park's salt breeze carrying the weight. He's more than a friend, Baba. He's my partner. Silence crashed, waves lapping indifferent. Aisha's frisbee faltered, eyes wide. Jamal coughed, glancing away. Fatima's hand flew to her mouth, a gasp swallowed. Ahmed's face hardened, lines etching deeper. Partner, like business. No, Malik pressed, voice steady despite the quake. Like love. I'm gay, Baba. I love Ethan. The picnic unraveled slow, utensils clinking too loud, conversation fracturing into fragments. Aisha whispered questions, her confusion a knife twist. Jamal muttered excuses, wandering to the water's edge. Fatima wept silent, head bowed. Ahmed rose abrupt, gathering plates with mechanical fury. We talk later. Family. The drive home was a tomb, radio silenced, tension thick as fog. That night, the apartment thrummed with unspoken storm. Fatima cornered Malik in the kitchen, her voice a tremor. Is this true, Habibi? That word. Gay. From those American shows. He nodded, throat tight, recounting fragments. Childhood crushes on boys, the Lagos nights with Tariq, the isolation that birthed this courage. She clutched her apron, tears carving paths. But Allah, the Quran says. I know, Mama, I struggle too, but this is me. Hiding killed pieces of my soul. She pulled him into embrace, sobbing into his shoulder, the conflict raw in her hold, love warring with doctrine. Ahmed's summons came dawn, the living room dim, coffee steaming untouched. Explain, he demanded, eyes flint. Malik did, words pouring like rain. The pain of pretense, the joy Ethan ignited, the plea for acceptance. Ahmed listened stone-faced, then spoke measured. You bring us here for better life. This shames us. In Nigeria, they'd stone you. Here, you choose exile in your own home. The blow landed visceral. It's not shame, Baba. It's truth. Ahmed's fist clenched, veins bulging. Truth that breaks family? We fled one hell for this? I taught you duty, not desire. The argument escalated, voices rising till Aisha burst in, pleading. Jamal followed, siding silent with father, his disappointment a wall. By midday, fracture lines showed. Fatima cooked through tears, meals tasteless. Aisha avoided his gaze, homework her shield. Jamal crashed at a friend's, text curt. Ahmed worked doubles, presence a ghost. Ethan called, voice-laced worry. Come over, please. Malik fled to Fremont, collapsing into arms that held without judgment. It'll pass? Ethan soothed, but Malik knew better. The rift was chasm now. Weeks blurred in limbo. Family interactions clipped. Politeness a veneer over pain. At iftar's end, prayers felt performative. Malik's recitations hollow. Whispers from relatives in Lagos filtered through. Gossip via WhatsApp. Aunts decrying the abomination. Fatima defended faintly, but doubt eroded her. Crisis peaked mid-October. Leaves carpeting streets in crimson decay. Ahmed gathered them, voice thunder. This cannot stand. Malik, choose. Us or him. The ultimatum sliced. Aisha whimpering, Jamal nodding grim. Fatima averted eyes, torn. Malik stood, heart-shattering. I choose me, and that includes you if you'll let it. Ahmed's face crumpled, rage masking grief. Then go. You're no son of mine. Exile came swift. Bags packed in fury. Malik loaded the Subaru. Ethan's texts unread in the blur. Fatima slipped a photo into his hand. Their Lagos portrait, faded but fierce. Come back when ready, she whispered, door closing soft behind him. Aisha hugged fierce, tears soaking his shirt. Jamal lingered, fist bump hollow. Ahmed's back turned, a mountain unmoved. He drove to Ethan's, rain lashing like judgment, collapsing in sobs that racked to bone. Ethan held him through the night. No words needed, just the steady beat of heart against heart. Dawn brought resolve, fragile but forged. Love as lifeline, truth as armor. But the void echoed. Days stretched, warehouse shifts mechanical, smiles forced for colleagues. Calls to Fatima went unanswered, voicemails piling like unanswered prayers. Aisha snuck texts. Miss you, bye. Don't hate us. Jamal's silence wounded deepest, brotherhood betrayed. Ethan became sanctuary, their love a bulwark. They navigated the aftermath. Therapy sessions in a Belltown office, where a soft-spoken counselor unpacked cultural knots. Walks in Volunteer Park, cherry trees bear witnesses to grief's slow thaw. Intimacy shifted, tender now, healing touches mending fractures. Yet betrayal's sting lingered. Rumors swirled in the community, mosque doors cooling to his presence. Work whispers followed, heard about Malik's family drama. Isolation crept, a cold companion. One November Eve, snow dusting rare, Malik stood at the apartment's old window, gazing at streets he'd once navigated with purpose. Ethan joined him, hand warm on waist. We'll build our own family, he said, voice vow. Malik leaned in, hope flickering faint. But the erasure ached, a hollow where home had been. Winter clamped Seattle in iron grip, the sound a slate mirror cracked by ferries' wakes, mirroring the fractures in Malik's soul. The new apartment in Ballard, a loft above a tattoo parlor, rent split with Ethan, offered refuge, its high ceilings echoing laughter they forced into evenings. Exposed beams and thrift store rugs became canvas for their life. Ethan's sketches pinned to walls, Malik's prayer rug folded discreet, a compromise in sacred space. Mornings started with shared brews, Ethiopian roast bittersweet, conversations weaving plans around the ache. But grief was a tide, ebbing only to surge. Nights, Malik woke sweating from dreams of Lagos dust and Ahmed's condemning stare. Ethan's arms a anchor pulling him back. I'm here, he'd murmur, kisses trailing spine till sleep reclaimed. Days blurred at the warehouse, pallets stacked with mechanical fury, sweat stinging eyes that blurred with unshed tears. Colleagues kept distance now, the family drama, a scarlet thread in whispers. Ethan's steadiness was grace unearned. He cooked tagines infused with North African spices scavenged from markets. Plates shared cross-legged on the floor, stories of his own coming out. A high school expulsion, a mother's slow reconciliation, bridging their worlds. Pain forges us, he said one night. Fork paused midair. Yours doesn't define you, it refines. Malik absorbed it, gratitude mingling with guilt. Ethan bearing the brunt of his unraveling. Crisis crested at Yule, holiday lights strung like defiant stars. An invitation from Ethan's circle, a potluck in a Fremont warehouse turned queer haven. Tempted, but Malik balked. They'll see my brokenness, he confessed, pacing the loft. Ethan cupped his face, green eyes fierce. They'll see your strength. Come. Let in light. The space pulsed with warmth. Tables groaning under vegan lasagnas and spiked ciders. Drag kings spinning vinyl soul. Introductions flowed. Javier, a chef with a laugh like thunder. Lena, therapist moonlighting as DJ, her locks crowned with fairy lights. Malik hovered edge, but Ethan's hand in his grounded. Stories shared tentative. Nigeria's vibrancy, Seattle's embrace. Laughter cracked his shell. A game of queer trivia yielding whoops and hugs. Midnight brought toasts, glasses clinking to found families. Malik's voice joined, raw but rising. The room a chorus erasing isolation's echo. Later, on the drive home, snowflakes dancing in headlights, he turned to Ethan. Thank you for seeing me whole. Their kiss at a red light was promise, deep and devouring. Thaw came piecemeal. Aisha's birthday text, a selfie and party hat. Wish you were here. Pierced. He replied cautious, balloons emoji a bridge. Her call followed days later, voice small. Mama cries at night. Baba works silent. I hate this. Tears choked him. I miss you, Ash. Tell them. I love them still. The line held long, her breath hitching. They know. Deep down. Emboldened, Malik penned letters to Fatima, verses of forgiveness laced with recipes remembered. To Jamal, blueprints of brotherly repair. To Ahmed, Quran quotes on mercy twisted to plea. Mailed without expectation. Stamps like prayers flung to wind. Spring stirred tentative green, cherry blossoms defiant. Work promotion came, supervisor slot, keys to office with window overlooking the yard validation amid void. He celebrated with Ethan at a rooftop bar, skyline aglow, cocktails sharp on tongues. To us, Ethan toasted, clinking glasses. Their night dissolved in heat, bodies reclaiming agency. Moans mingling with rain patter on tin roof. But betrayal's shadow lengthened. A call from Lagos uncle, voice venom. Your father disowns you formal. No inheritance. No name. The words eviscerated. Legacy severed like cord. Malik shattered. Glass from dropped mug scattering like his resolve. Ethan swept shards, held the sobs, but fracture deepened. Trust in family a casualty. Isolation peaked in May, a solo hike to Rattlesnake Ledge, trail punishing with switchbacks mirroring climb. Summit view, cascades unfolding endless, brought catharsis, wind whipping tears free. He screamed into void, grief's howl echoing back. Descent brought clarity. Healing not linear, but labyrinth, turns demanding courage. Back home, Ethan waited with stew simmering, no questions asked. They ate in quiet, fork scraping bowls, then made love slow, deliberate, each caress a reclamation. You're my home, Malik whispered post-climax. Ethan's sigh affirmation. Summer hummed return, community tendrils reaching. Elnor Outreach, a young imam, progressive bent, hosting dialogues on faith and identity, drew Malik wary. Circle small. Other queer Muslims sharing stories, tears and tea flowing. Allah's Rahmah is vast, the imam said, eyes kind. Wider than our fears. Validation bloomed, roots in soil long barren. Aisha's visit came unannounced. Bus from Seattle U District, backpack slung defiant. Ran away for weekend, she grinned, hugging fierce at the door. Ethan played host, pancakes stacked high, her chatter filling loft with life. They wandered markets, her arm looped his, questions tumbling. Does it hurt? Loving him? Malik nodded honest. Every day a little, but joy too. She squeezed hand. Mama wants you back. Secret. Hope flickered, but caution tempered. He drove her home Sunday Eve. Apartment facade unchanged, but Fatima's porch wave. Tentative, tear-glossed, cracked door ajar. Autumn leaves turned therapy gold. Sessions delving betrayal's core. Anger at father? Counselor probed. Malik unpacked. Resentment for rigidity. Grief for lost mentor. Homework. Boundaries scripted. Confrontation rehearsed. Climax brewed Thanksgiving. Ethan's family hosting. A sprawling clan in Bellevue. tables laden turkey and tails. Malik integrated, toasts toasting his journey, acceptance a bomb. Post-feast walk, lake path crunching, phone buzzed. Jamal. Home. Now, talk. Heart hammering, he detoured, Ethan squeezing hand supportive. Apartment loomed, lights warm. Ahmed at table, face etched weary. Fatima hovered, Aisha beaming. Jamal nodded curt.
Sit.
Words tumbled, Ahmed's opening. I read your letter, prayed. This gay life, it wounds, but your blood. Apology fractured, pride yielding to love. Malik's response poured. Pain of erasure, plea for inclusion. Hugs followed, tentative then tight, family mending thread by thread. But true test lingered, winter's chill forecasting. Ethan's proposal, ring simple, tungsten etched with coordinates of their first kiss. Came Christmas Eve, snow blanketing city soft. Kneeling by tree twinkling. He asked, build forever with me? Malik's yes was thunder. Kiss sealing amid cheers from friends gathered. Yet dawn brought Ahmed's call. Come for Eid. Bring him. Invitation laced condition but step forward. The gathering, extended kin, platters of lamb, hummed tension. But Ethan's poise won nods, toasts tentative. Malik's heart swelled, bridge holding. Healing's path wound on, scars tender but stories. In Seattle's embrace, family reformed, blood and chosen entwined, love's tapestry woven resilient. The fragile piece shattered like thin ice underfoot, the crack starting subtle in the new year. When Ahmed's silences lengthened into absences, his dock shifts stretching to evade the new normal. Eid's tentative warmth had masked undercurrents. Relatives' sidelong glances at Ethan like thorns in the feast's joy. Malik felt it, a prickle at nape during family dinners, where laughter rang hollow around Ethan's jokes. Fatima's smile strained. February brought the storm. Aisha's school counselor called. Bullying whispers of fag brother. Reaching her ears, lockers scrawled with slurs. She confessed over phone, voice quavering. Kids heard from mosque families. They say you're haram, dragging us down. Malik's drive to the high school was fury-fueled. Rain sheeting windshield, confronting the advisor in an office reeking of stale coffee. Protect her, he demanded, voice steel. This is on us, not her. Home that night, confrontation brewed. Ahmed waited, arms crossed, face thundercloud. Your truth poisons her, he accused, finger jabbing. Now she suffers our shame. The word ignited. Shame? Yours or mine? Malik shot back, chest heaving. Fatima intervened, hands wringing. Enough. We're family, not enemies. But the poison spread. Jamal pulled away, texts drying to drips, his apprenticeship consuming but avoidance clear. A night out with co-workers turned ambush. Old mosque friends cornering him at a bar, beers clutched like weapons. Repent, brother, one urged, eyes pitying. Before you lose everything. Malik walked out, night air slapping sense, but doubt burrowed deep. Ethan bore witness, his own pains resurfacing. A family holiday invite revoked upon bringing that guy. They clung closer, love's fire staving cold, but resentment simmered. Why fight for them? Ethan asked one dawn, sheets tangled. They half accept, half hate. Malik's reply was sigh. Blood stubborn. Like me. Crisis detonated April. Cherry petals rotting under relentless downpour. Fatima's health faltered, stress manifesting in migraines. Doctor visits revealing hypertension's grip. Hospital wait, sterile white, Ahmed pacing, blamed Malik's rebellion. If not for this, she'd be strong, he hissed. Rage blinded, Malik lunging, Jamal restraining. Stop, you're killing her too. The fight spilled into hall, nurses shushing, Aisha sobbing in chairs. Ethan arrived, hand steady on Malik's back, but Ahmed's glare vilified. You bring him here? To her bed. Fatima, weak from foredrip, whispered. Let him stay. He's my son. Discharge brought armistice, care routines binding. Malik cooked broths, read to her from old novels, Ethan's drawings cheering bedside. But undercurrent raged. Jamal's betrayal struck hardest. A leaked voice note to Legos kin, Malik's coming out twisted to scandal, uncle's threatening cutoffs. I protected the family, Jamal justified when confronted, eyes evasive. You chose him over us. The knife twist. Brother, once confidant, now Judas. Malik stormed out, streets slick with betrayal's rain, pounding pavement till lungs burned. Ethan found him at the canal, soaked and shaking. It's over, Malik choked. They'll never. No. Ethan cut, pulling close. It's evolving. Fight or fold. Your call. They returned, door ajar on reconciliation's edge. Summer scorched rare, heat waves warping asphalt. Community fractured further. Al-Noor Imam relocating, progressive voice silenced by elders' vote. Malik's attendance dwindled, prayer app substitute, faith a private flame. Work promotion soured, boss citing personal distractions. Demotions slap, bills mounted, loft's charm fading to stress. Ethan's anchor strained, freelance gigs drying, arguments sparking over smalls. Forgotten laundry, unspoken fears. I need all of you, not halves. He confessed, tears hot. Malik vowed change, but crisis peaked July 4th. Fireworks bursting like wounds. Family barbecue at Discovery Park. Olive branch extended. Tensions simmered under grill's smoke. Relatives circling wary. Then Ahmed's brother, Uncle Kareem, visiting from Houston, cornered Ethan by cooler. You corrupt our boy. Leave or we make you. Threats veiled in piety, but venom clear. Ethan paled, fist clenching, Malik intervening with roar. Touch him. Touch me. Fray erupted. Shouts across lawns, Aisha fleeing tears, Fatima collapsing faint. Ahmed dragged Kareem away, but damage etched. Picnic dissolved, Malik driving Ethan home, silence deafening. I can't do half-life, Ethan said at door, voice breaking. Choose full us or them. The ultimatum echoed fathers, irony bitter. Malik begged time, but Ethan packed bag, eyes resolute. Heal your wars, then find me. Door clicked shut, echo abyss. Alone, loft cavernous, Malik unraveled. Days bled, warehouse absentee, calls ignored. Aisha's pleas, come back, please, unanswered. Fatima's texts, scripture on forgiveness, unread. Dreams haunted. Tariq's ghost, Ahmed's back turned, Ethan's hand slipping free. Rock bottom came august, bridge overlook at dusk, city lights mocking. Wind howled temptation, but memory surged. Fatima's jasmine, Aisha's laugh, Ethan's vow. He stepped back, dialing crisis line, voice cracking into receiver. I can't, but I will. Therapy intensified, sessions marathons unpacking betrayal's layers. Group support at LGBTQ Center, faces mirroring his mosaic, queer immigrants sharing survival scripts. Erased once, rewrite. A trans Somali woman urged, her smile scar-strong. Rebuilding started small. Job hunt yielding barista gig at old shop, irony's wink. Runs along the waterfront, breath-sinking waves. Letters to self, affirmations etched in journal. I am enough. Fall winds carried overtures. Aisha's runaway redux, crashing loft uninvited. They miss you.
Ido.
Hugs fierce, her stories cracking walls. Jamal's guilt, Ahmed's prayers whispered. Give chance. Mediation followed, neutral cafe in West Seattle, counselor facilitating. Ahmed's apology halting. Fear blinded, not hate. Jamal's confession tear-streaked. I failed you. Fatima's embrace floodgate. Ethan returned tentative, coffee date bridging, love's ember fanned. But scars mapped permanent, trust tender. Holidays hybrid, half with blood, half chosen, boundaries drawn clear. Autumn's palette bled into winter's monochrome. Seattle's streets a canvas of fallen leaves mashed under tires, mirroring the slow grind of Malik's reconstruction. The loft, once echo of absence, filled gradual with purpose. Plants trailing from shelves, Ethan's easel reclaimed corner. Their bed a sanctuary rebuilt on honest footings. Couples therapy wove them tighter. Sessions in a sunlit office overlooking the locks, where salmon leaped upstream like metaphors for persistence. Vulnerability's the glue, the therapist intoned, and they practiced. Ethan admitting envy of Malik's cultural depth. Malik voicing terror of abandonment's repeat. Work steadied at the coffee shop, steam and chatter a bomb. Tips funding night classes in graphic design. Ethan's influence sparking. Channel the pain, he encouraged. Their collaborations birthing posters for queer youth events. Bold lines, colors defiant. Community re-embraced piecemeal. Volunteering at the center, facilitating circles for immigrant LGBTQ. His story a beacon in dim rooms. Family mending crept. Weekly calls with Aisha evolved to visits. Her college apps spread across kitchen table. Malik's edits laced pride. "You're my hero," she said once, braids tied back, eyes fierce. Jamal's thaw came labor-intensive. Joint hikes in the Issaquah Alps, silences yielding to admissions. "I was scared, man, of losing the old U.S." Beers shared at Summit, forgiveness poured amber. Fatima's recovery bloomed, garden plots in community yard yielding okra and tomatoes, harvests shared in meals that bridged divides. Her letters now included Ethan's name casual, recipes adapted vegan for him. Ahmed's progress slowest, gruff gestures, toolkits gifted, chess rematches, speaking volumes unspoken. One rainy eve, post-dinner, he pulled Malik aside. "I see your strength, like mine, but braver." The hug awkward but iron, walls crumbling brick by brick. Yet old wounds suppurated. Mosque elders' boycott lingered, prayers solitary in the loft, faith a personal dialogue with the divine. Questions on love's halal, mercy's breadth. A Lagos cousin's wedding invite arrived, exclusion implicit, sting fresh. Malik burned it symbolic, ashes scattered in the canal. Ethan witnessing silent. Holiday season tested resilience. Christmas at Ethan's kin, inclusive sprawl, stockings hung for all. Contrasted Hanukkah dinner with family, lax beside jollof, awkward toasts blending traditions. New Year's, rooftop with friends, countdown kiss under fireworks. Malik's resolution whispered, "Grow, not just survive." Winter yielded to spring's insistent green, cherry festivals thrumming with renewal. Engagement formalized low-key, rings exchanged in the arboretum, petals confetti natural. Partners in all, Ethan vowed, band cool on finger. Planning ensued gentle, small ceremony in volunteer park. Guests a tapestry of worlds. Crisis's echo faded, but lessons etched. A work promotion to manager brought stability, team diverse mirroring his journey. Ethan's gallery show, pieces inspired by their saga, abstracts of erasure and embrace. Sold out, validation shared in after-party hugs. Summer solstice marked milestone. Family trip to Olympic Peninsula, cabins by Ho Rainforest, moss-draped giants witnesses. Tensions simmered mild, Ahmed's grumbles at Ethan's trail mix, but laughter over campfires, stories swapped till stars wheeled. Aisha's splash fights, Jamal's ghost tales, Fatima's songs lilting. Malik watched, heart full, Ethan's hand in his a quiet triumph. Fall brought depth. Book club dives into Baldwin, Audre Lorde, words resonating bone deep. Identity's revolution, Malik journaled, pages filling with essays submitted local mags, publications trickling, op-eds on queer Muslim diaspora, voice emerging. Betrayal's ghost visited rare, nightmares quelled by Ethan's murmur. Therapy tapered, tools internalized, boundaries as art, not walls. Winter's end, anniversary neared, Malik planned surprise. Drive to Spokane, Ethan's roots, meeting his mother reconciled. The trailer park unchanged, but her embrace warm, pie cooling on sill. "He's kept you good," she told Malik, eyes twinkling. Tears flowed reciprocal, histories merged. Spring wedding dawned perfect, park alive with azaleas. Officiant a imam therapist hybrid, vows blending Arabic and English. Aisha maid of honor, Jamal best man, Ahmed walking aisle, Fatima beaming front row. Rings exchanged. Kiss ceiling under arbor. Cheers multicultural chorus. Reception spilled laughter. Dances fusing Afrobeat and indie. Toasts toasting endurance. Night fell intimate. Loft aglow candles. Bodies celebrating union slow. Love's language fluent. Years folded forward. Life a mosaic expanding. Adoption talks for Aisha's future kin. Business venture. Design firm queer-led. Clients from community. Ahmed's retirement. Stories swapped over tea. Pride paternal. Fatima's grandkids dreamed. Jamal's solar startup thriving. Malik reflected often. Scars faint but stories strong. Erased once. Rewritten eternal. Family not erased, but evolved. Love's alchemy turning pain to gold. The path to wholeness twisted more than straight. Winter's bite nipping at heels of progress, reminding that scars itched eternal. Malik's promotion at the shop brought long hours, steam and small talk a grind, leaving evenings drained for Ethan's patient coax. Lean on me, he'd say, massages needing knots, but resentment bubbled. You carry their load, I carry yours alone. Family gains faltered too. Aisha's visits joyful, but teen angst flared. Why can't Baba just say it? He loves Ethan? Her rebellion. Dyed hair streaks, late nights. Echoed Malik's youth, interventions tense. Jamal's startup pitch, Malik invested cautious, but disagreement over ethics. Cutting corners for speed strained, argument exploding over dinner. You're becoming him, Jamal accused, finger to Ahmed. Door slam echoed. Fatima's garden thrived, but health scare. Fall in market, wrist sprained. Pulled all close, hospital vigil uniting, but Ahmed's gruff. I told you to slow, masked fear, lashing at Malik. If not for stress. The old blame half buried, reared. Ethan's show success spotlighted, but jealousy gnawed Malik. Your art heals. Mine just serves lattes. Therapy unearthed it. Sessions raw. Success shared. Not stolen. They recommitted. Date nights reclaimed. Poetry slams in Georgetown. Hands clasped in dark. Mosque reconciliation tentative. New imam welcoming. But first sermon on family post coming out stirred congregation murmurs. Malik fleeing mid-prayer. Chest tight. Ethan found him lakeside. Faith's yours, not theirs. Spring renewal hit snag. Wedding planning clashes. Ahmed insisting traditional elements. Ethan pushing modern. Compromise frayed tempers. Rehearsal dinner near brawl when uncle sniped. Blood waters down with this. Aisha's defense fierce, but damage lingered. Doubts creeping. Are we forcing fit? Summer heat amplified. Trip to peninsula pressure cooker. Rainforest mists cloaked arguments. Ahmed's homophobia slips. Ethan's retorts sharp. Campfire circle forced truths. I try, Ahmed admitted, voice gravel. But old ways die hard. Ethan nodded. I see effort. Truce fragile, but held through esmores and stars. Fall steadied. Publications gaining traction, voice amplified. Group support solidified friendships. Barbecues with Javier's crew. Bonds forged fire-tested. Setback struck November. Ethan's ex surfacing, old flame. Reconciliation ploy, masked manipulation. Trust shaken. Nights arguing. Malik's insecurities flaring. Am I second? Ethan proved steadfast, blocking, recommitting vows early. Winter solstice brought pivot. Joint therapy with Ahmed. Office tense. Words halting. I failed you, father confessed. Pride blinded. Malik's forgiveness flowed. Tears cathartic. Hug at end, first genuine in years. Healing's rhythm resumed. Setbacks lessons, not defeats. Anniversary trip to California coast. Big Sur cliffs whispering resilience. Love reaffirmed in ocean roar. As the calendar flipped to the eve of their first anniversary, Seattle wrapped in spring's tentative embrace. Dogwoods blooming defiant against lingering chill. Malik stood at the loft's window, city sprawl a testament to survival's sprawl. The year had carved him hollow then full, erasures overwritten with ink of intention. Family no longer monolith but mosaic, pieces fitting imperfect but true. Ethan's reflection joined his, chin on shoulder, ring glinting shared light. Ready for forever? He murmured. Malik turned, kissed soft affirmation. With you always. Wedding's echo lingered sweet, park ceremony a blur of vows and vows kept. Aisha's toast, teary and bold. To loves that bend but never break. Jamal's speech, humor-laced healing. Brothers by choice and blood messier, but real. Fatima's dance with Ethan, steps halting but joyful, hijab swirling. Ahmed's nod during first dance, eyes wet pride. Guests, queer collective, immigrant kin, artists and elders. Wove tapestry vibrant, toasts toasting not just union, but journey's grit. Post-nuptials, life layered deeper. Design firm launched modest, loft-doubling studio, clients trickling. Logos for trans cafes, campaigns for immigrant rights. Malik's op-eds snowballed, invitations to panels. TEDx Seattle slot, stage lights hot, words on reclaiming roots in rainbow soil, resonating. Applause thunderous. Ethan's murals commissioned citywide, walls blooming stories of unseen lives. Family orbits stabilized, orbits overlapping. Biweekly dinners rotated venues, halal truck picnics, vegan buffets, conversations evolving. Ahmed's questions on gay history, tentative but curious. Fatima's scrapbook of clippings, Malik's face beaming. Aisha's internship at firm, sketches sharp as her wit. Jamal's solar installs, family home first beneficiary, pride shared. Faith's reconciliation flowered private. Home mosque gatherings, progressive circle debating queerness in scripture, conclusions compassionate. Malik led one, voice steady. Allah's love encompasses, as do we. Tears collective embraces ceiling. Setbacks visited gentle now. Ahmed's slip at family event. Old slur muttered, immediate apology, growth's proof. Ethan's freelance drought, Malik's encouragement echoing past. They navigated, tools honed. Date jars for spontaneity, therapy check-ins monthly. Summer zenith, road trip cross-country. Route 66 echoes in Prius hum. Stops at queer landmarks. Stonewall ghosts in NYC, Black trans memorials in Memphis. Conversations deepened, dreams voiced. Fostering kids, travel to Nigeria healed. Show them the man we built, Ethan said, hand on thigh. Fall harvest, firm milestone. First big contract, team expand including Aisha part-time. Holiday fusion peaked. Thanksgiving potluck blending turkey, fufu, tofurkey, toasts to gratitude spectrum. Winter's gift, pregnancy surrogate news, child on horizon, names brainstormed. Tariq for lost love's honor, or Nova for new stars. Ahmed's reaction. Shock to joy. Full circle. Grandson or daughter, mine to spoil. Anniversary dawned coastal. Cabin by Dosualips. Waves lulling. Breakfast in bed. Ethan's sketch of them aged. Lines soft. This is us, enduring. Love making slow. Body's map of memories. Climax whisper of vows renewed. Evening fire crackled. Marshmallows toasting. Stories circling. From visa's grip to erasure's void. Betrayal's blade to healing's balm. We brought family to America, Malik said, head on Ethan's lap, but built one unbreakable. Stars wheeled above, city distant, their world complete, human, flawed, profoundly whole. Love's narrative, not ended, but ever unfolding.